This is not a bridge over troubled water. This is water under a troubled bridge. Renovation of the Clark Street Bridge sidewalk, finished in July and designed to stand up for more than a decade, is in need of repair just 2 months later.
It's very difficult in high heels, actually. It's very difficult. You have to be careful not to trip.
Terrible. It's terrible. It's hard on your feet, too.
The problem with the Clark Street Bridge isn't the infrastructure. It's here on the surface, where this concrete, poured and finished correctly, is smooth. Right beside it, this entire quadrant, not finished and poured correctly, is rough and will have to be redone. As this man pulls his handcart from the bad section to the good section, you can see and hear the difference.
How you doing?
But what went wrong?
Probably a hot day. Maybe there was perhaps the wrong type of retarder in it. These are things that cement finishers should know, and they should adapt accordingly.
But they didn't. So if you've been seeing these construction signs and barricades all summer, you'll see them once again. The only thing gone will be about $50,000 that it costs to redo the walkways.
Why don't the people that did this wrong to begin with do it for nothing again without having to charge us?
It was a city crew.
It was a city crew.
Yeah.
Well, they should have hired somebody different.
News Channel 5's Tom Johnson has more.
Earlier this year, we showed you some of the friendly people who illegally park in disabled zones. Today, new disabled parking placards in green and red replace all blue parking cards that have been used and abused for years.
Well, unfortunately, not everyone follows the standards that were set up, and they are being misused. So this way, hopefully, we can weed out some of that.
Misuses this driver sees every day.
The necessity for people with disabilities to have these spaces. If, in fact, I didn't have this space, I wouldn't be able to go to work.
Placards are only to be used by disabled drivers or cars being used to transport them and are limited to those who cannot walk 200 feet without assistance. But it was several hundred yards up city sidewalks, through hallways, and boarding an elevator before we caught up with this man who was driving a car with an expired placard registered to someone else. They're usually used for people who can't walk more than 200 feet. So do you park in handicapped spots often?
No, I don't.
Despite tough laws and the new changes, officials say there are still plenty of old placards and people parking illegally in disabled spots. This man says he parked to pick up his disabled mother, but walked away when we asked questions about his placard. What about your mother? Yesterday, a plan to increase flights at O'Hare was making noise. Today, it's the sound of those who live closest to the airport.
It never stops, and it's getting worse. There we go. There. One after another. It's enough to drive you crazy.
The Department of Aviation says there are about 2,400 takeoff and landings every day at O'Hare. That's about 100 an hour, and area residents say they don't want any more. Phil and Evelyn Geneseo have lived in Arlington Heights for 12 years and spent a lot of time on their patio.
And I'm sick of them. I'm out to chew somebody's head off, and I'm not kidding you.
One person who should stay off Geneseo's patio, Arizona Senator John McCain, who says the overall public will benefit from lower airfares and better service.
Well, my obligation is to every citizen of America, not just those who happen to live in the surrounding area.
McCain, who heads the Senate Transportation Committee, is proposing more slots for more planes at several airports. That includes 100 slots converged at this military area at O'Hare, a proposal he's pushing in Washington.
What can you tell anyone in Washington? They're all a bunch of idiots. And you can quote me.
Mark, this is an important street because it's the only street in Chicago that goes north, south, east, and west. It's dark, it's dirty, it's dripping, and it's falling apart. But still, thousands of commuters swear by this route because it can save them a little time. Wacker Drive, loved by the Blues Brothers and countless Chicago drivers because it's fast.
It's really fast. I go to school at UIC and I live on the north side, and it's very fast.
Why do I take it? To avoid traffic. It's great. It's the best.
But heavy traffic on upper streets isn't the only obstacle to avoid on lower Wacker.
You can see stuff falling and stuff a lot of times, you know, and definitely needs some repair.
Thursday, the city will unveil a plan that calls for the closure of lower Wacker and half of upper Wacker for long overdue repairs.
The structure's 70 years old and it's showing its age. There's a lot of deterioration due to the road salts and water infiltrating through the deck.
Nothing like a rainy day to show the true deep, dark story of Lower Wacker Drive. Rainwater coming in everywhere, eroding an already decaying concrete structure. The rescue plan for Wacker includes complete pavement replacement, much improved lighting. Entrance ramps to Lower Wacker will be reduced for safety, and vertical separation between decks will be increased to reduce stuck trucks. And the concrete pillars that strike fear in the most courageous commuters will be thinned. On ground level, the new plan includes improving the riverfront and enlarging this park at Wabash. And good news for those who cruise the lower link to avoid stoplights.
I don't think we're really looking to add any traffic signals, so it's still kind of like the 500 down there.
And improved lighting might mean motorists can spot speed limit signs better. Wacker Drive was part of Daniel Burnham's original Chicago plan. His famous motto, of course, make no small plans, and this isn't. This will cost $350 million, and when they find the money to get this project underway, it should be a one-year project starting around the year 2000. Reporting live from Lower Wacker, Tom Johnson on the Night Team, News Channel 5.